Hey everybody, Crazy War Hero coming back at you with the TFGO Broncos franchise. We are currently in the offseason. Um, this will be a very short stream. I'm basically just going to go through, talk about the roster, how we could potentially improve. The draft is scheduled for Thursday night. So first we'll have free agency the next couple of days, then the draft Thursday night. So the regular, or we should be back playing games by Saturday, um, at the latest, and then it'll just depend on my work schedule when I actually play games. So I still got about another week for we're actually playing football games, but for now, I guess we'll talk about what happened. The Super Bowl. Can I actually look at this standings? I don't think standings would do it because I see the actual Super Bowl in the middle there. Dolphins won 62-30. Let's do it. There we go. Whoops, hit the wrong. Okay, yeah, here we go. So Dolphins end up winning pretty handily. Wait, what? Minus 10 rushing yards? That can't be right. I literally watched the Super Bowl and I felt like he ran the ball some. That's crazy if that's accurate. Yeah, a lot of turnovers this game. A crazy game, but um the Dolphins come out top. This is their second Super Bowl win. Yeah, actually, let's look at this. All right, so wow, maybe yeah. So he only had a total of 32 rushing yards, and so maybe there were some negative plays that. How do you have 40 some yards of negative rushing plays though? How does that happen? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Uh, but like I said, in any case, we're just gonna run through the roster and see how we can improve. Actually, we'll hit the retirements real quick. We did have a couple of guys retire. C.J. Mosley, he was a depth guy for us. He was a mentor for the other linebackers, so that's a bit unfortunate, but maybe we can find somebody to replace that in free agency. And then Garrett Bowles retires. I actually already was planning to move on from him anyway. So him retiring isn't a big deal. I already prepared for that. Um, but yeah, let's run through the roster. I guess we can go with the team salaries as well. Uh, if you look at the top right, I currently have 85 million, around 85 million in cap space. Around 13 million of that is going to be set aside for rookie class. So that gives me about 72 million to work with in free agency, which is a good amount. Hopefully we can get some good pieces in here. Um, but yeah, I'll get back to that in a moment. Let's see. Um, I'll kind of show this. These are the players that we're going to be losing uh to free agency. None of these guys are really Actually, none of these guys are starters. They're all depth pieces, and so filling that out, I don't anticipate having too much trouble. Wow, Leonard Floyd is a 69 overall now. Um, yeah, so he had a huge drop off. He's getting older, so he's starting to lose attributes. That's what all that red is right there. Um, Although I think he still has that mentor tag, which teams are more interested in this player during free agency, which would only work for computer. That doesn't. This is a 32 user league, so that's not going to be a factor. But the boost weekly training XP for other players at their position, that is good to have. And so I may. Is it too late for me to bring him back? He can't cost a lot now. Let me see if I can. It might be too late. I can't remember. Hopefully he doesn't cost much. But then we have Epinesa, who was kind of our journeyman depth edge, who got a decent amount of playing time, if other guys got hurt. But I think we can get that from the draft, or at least try to. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I guess we'll just go by position here, kind of talk about the state of the roster. So quarterback position, we have decided to move forward with Cam Ward. He got star dev, which means that he'll get XP faster. Even though he is a lower overall than the original starter, Bo Nix, 84 overall versus 80. Cam Ward played way better and also has that star dev development trait, and also has 2 years left on his contract. Bo Nix only has 1 year. So I have a potential trade in the works to move on from Bo Nix, which would be good to kind of hand the reins completely to Cam Ward, and get some additional draft capital to make some moves in the draft. Carson Wentz is a 58 overall now. Hopefully he still has that mentor tag, which is why I have him on the roster. I'm guessing he lost quite a bit with him being an older player as well. And actually, due to the league suspension, uh, Carson Wentz actually had to play a game for me last year and actually played really well, which was kind of funny. Um, I think at that time, Bo Nix was suspended and Cam Ward was injured, so Carson Wentz had to play. But however, if we trade Bo Nix, we will need to get a new backup quarterback because Wentz isn't good enough. I wouldn't want him to be dependent on for that. We'd like to improve there. Uh, but next up, we have halfback, which McLaughlin played well for us. However, I wanted to upgrade there, and an opportunity presented itself to get a better running back. So I have a trade that is waiting on league approval. Um, Zamir White. He's a superstar, which is good. Uh, Power back archetype, so I could potentially do kind of a tandem with Zamir White and McLaughlin. Um, an upgrade even over Javonte Williams, who I had last year. Although after trading Williams away, he ended up doing very well for the Raiders, and I'll likely be having to go against Williams next year on the Raiders. Um, but I kind of wanted to show this because this kind of showed the motivations affect where players prefer to play at. Zamir White was in free agency last year, and I was competing with the Jaguars to get him, but I wasn't able to get that signing done. And I think a big part of it is because of the franchise quarterback. Uh, the game has Trevor Lawrence um, slotted as a franchise quarterback. I don't have a franchise quarterback on the roster, which meant that it would be harder for me to sign. And that's kind of been my issue actually, the last 2 years. I think 2 years I've really tried to get free agents, but the premier guys, it's been hard to get because the Broncos just isn't a good destination right now. We don't have a franchise quarterback. Some of the other motivations we don't hit are uh I'm drawing a blank right now. Hold on. Let me just kind of run through a couple of these. See if I can find. All right, so yeah, so like warm weather state, Colorado's not hitting that. Like I said, we don't have a franchise quarterback. Let's see what else. Um, so we're doing okay with the head coach record, which is basically my record. 49%, which is not great, but as you can see, it's yellow, so it's kind of in the middle. Big market, Denver's in the middle, but once again, teams that have more who are bigger markets or have better win percentage are gonna uh, be more attractive for free agents. No income tax, Colorado uh, is taking the L there as well. States like Texas have no income tax, which is an advantage for them. Um, so that kind of just shows like Denver really is not checking most of the boxes right now for good destinations. So it's going to be hard for us to bring in talent in free agency. So our best avenue, at least for now, is either the draft or trades. Like I said, I have a trade in the works for Zamir White, which would improve the running back room. And I think with a better run game, we could really improve the team overall and get back into playoff contention. So wide receiver, Kamani Waynes, we do need to talk about him. He actually, I don't know if it'll show here or not. Uh, week 18. Okay, yeah, it kind of shows it in the upgrades. So first off, he got Superstar X Factor, which is great because now he's gonna have a new ability, play better than even this past year. He got Offensive Rookie of the Year, and got a bunch of upgrades because of that. So he's locked in as our wide receiver one. Um, we re-signed Michael Wilson. I kind of just wanted to increase our floor for our wide receiver room. And so retaining Michael Wilson, I felt was a good idea. We have Troy Franklin as the number 3, and I feel like that's decent, but that's definitely a spot we can upgrade, as well as these other spots on all the way down. Cooks and Hardman are actually free agents. They'll be off the roster once we advance. But we have two young guys, Jarius Nix and Sidney Guyton. And I actually kind of like both of these players as developmental prospects. I'm not sure if they'll both make the team. Um, the only way they would both make the team is if we just don't bring any receivers at all, and that would leave us with six. I don't see myself carrying a seventh receiver, but I guess it's possible. Tight end, currently have five on the roster. Willis essentially just plays fullback for me. So, oh, that's interesting. Dolchich is actually 6'4". I've kind of been debating going for another great tight end. Um, and potentially even moving on from Dulcich. I feel like Dulcich hasn't been as good as I would like. And if I can get better there, I would like to. But I saw that I think Dulcich actually could do some interesting things playing kind of a fullback role. That could be a way to get him better matchups. At tackle, currently we have Dewan Winters slotted in here. This is a guy I've been really focusing on developing for 2 years, and now he's a solid tackle option. Like I said, Bowles retired, um, so we needed a tackle to step up, and we already have one on the roster ready to do that. But at the same time, we could definitely get better there. In general, I'd like to get better on the O line because we had such difficulty running the football. So improving the O line wherever we can will be a benefit. I'm trying to see a lot of these contracts. We're not gonna. It would be difficult to get. No, I wouldn't say difficult, but we're gonna have to eat some money. Like this is the biggest one. Connor McGovern. I'd have to eat 24 million in order to get him off the roster. Doesn't really make sense to do that, but I could potentially draft offensive line. And the reason I'm thinking about this is because I currently have the 10th pick, which is pretty good. You can get a good player, but you can't really guarantee what position is going to be there for you. And there's a lot of tackles. This particular class is really good with tackle. So because of that, I might be in a position where the best player on the board is an offensive lineman. And but if I don't take him, I'm getting a much lesser player. And I don't that generally isn't a good thing to do. You always want to take the best player when possible. Um and so despite the cap penalty, I feel like if I need to sit an offensive lineman because I draft someone better, I think I'm in position to do that. Especially with I'm not hurting for cap space right now. So I can kind of afford to sit a guy even though he's making a good bit of money. At left end, we have Epinesa who's leaving, and then we have two young guys here, Carrington and Lawton. I'm mainly looking for run stopping here, which currently Lawton would be the better run defender with the block shed rating. But both those guys need to improve. I definitely could find a free agent that has that run stopping ability a bit better. Potentially bringing back Epinesa, as you can see, he has 78 block shed. But Ideally, I'd like to be drafting guys to fill these spots, but we'll see what happens. We have, like I said, Floyd's leaving. Um, None of these guys are really relevant aside from Ellis and Browning. Uh, those are our top two guys. Um, Ellis actually is up for a contract. I was debating trading him, but the draft, like if the draft class had a lot of good edges, I probably would have traded him. But like I said, I have money, and he's a really good player at this point, 90 overall, probably top. He might be my second best player on the team, if I'm not mistaken, as far as overall. So I I I think it's best to keep Ellis for sure. All right, Matabuike, he actually got a development increase to superstar, so now he has abilities, uh, which I've already kind of picked stuff to try to help the defense be better next year. I think especially this goal line stuff. Um, I think um, trying to stop guys on the goal line is very tough. It was very tough for us last year, so I think him having that ability will be a big help. Torres, I believe. Let's see what that tag does. Okay, so yeah, the future starter tag, he still is getting increased XP. Um, so hopefully he could continue to develop as a one tech force. Both of these depth guys are leaving. I'm probably gonna just fill that through the draft. Linebacker is the spot where we're a bit thin. We don't really have good players. Uh, Besides Sanders, who's at 85 overall, everyone else is pretty low. Jabril Cox is 71 overall. Although he has played well, I would like to get better at linebacker. Also, he's getting older. He's 29 years old. How But once again, the issue is the draft class is not strong in terms of off-ball linebacker. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to upgrade there, but if I can, I would like to. Cornerback, we need to improve there as well. Honestly, Henderson has played pretty well, especially for his overall. But he's getting older, and then we really don't have many good players behind Sertan. This guy, he was on our practice squad and has star dev. I didn't even know about that. Um, had I known that, I probably would have tried to develop him more. But now I'm not sure if it makes sense to try because we only have like 2 years left in for this league. um, like we only have 2 seasons left. So even if I fully focus on developing him, he's probably only going to get to like a 71 overall, which is like barely enough to be considered a starter. Um, so I'm not sure if it makes sense, even though he has star development and is a young player, with him only being a 64 overall. I don't know if it makes sense to try to develop him or not. I'm still kind of debating that. But I guess we'll see what I decide. Um, but at least for now, I have him slotted as the dime corner, which basically the fourth corner. Abrams Drain, I believe he still has 1 year left. Hold up. Yeah, 27. Trying to make sure he's not like a impending free agent. Click on. Hmm. Yeah, he might be a free agent. Because if he's a free agent, okay, no, he still has 1 year left. Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I was worried for a second there because the cornerback room's already bad enough. Then at safety, we have Justin Reed, I think he's starting to regress. Yeah. He's still a solid player. For now, he's still my best free safety option. Moses Adams is a guy I'm working on developing. Um, this is kind of a Madden glitch. I don't say glitch, but he shouldn't be regressing with him. I'll say glitch. He shouldn't be regressing with him being this young. And the league office went back in and reversed that, even though it didn't show it on that screen. So he is actually at a 73 overall. I'm debating because he's going to be a 74 overall very quickly, and then I can get him to a 75 in training camp. So there is an argument to be made to potentially move on from Justin Reed and then just play Skinner and Adams as a tandem. Um, but I mean, to what end though? I mean, it would save me $5 million, almost $6 million, but I don't really need to save cap space right now. The only argument for it would be if I really want to develop Adams, he needs to get snaps, and obviously he would get a ton of snaps if I got rid of Justin Reed. Um, but honestly, he's regressed enough that I'm not really compelled to start him. I mean, he is still my fastest safety at 91 speed. So I'm gonna hold on to Justin Reed, but Adams is gonna get quite a bit of snaps. Um, I play big nickel anyway, which has three safeties. So it'll like Adams will get his snaps for sure. Um, I didn't go over kicker and punter, but we basically have a really good kicker and punter signed for the rest of the franchise, so it's not really that important. Um, I guess I'll do like a quick recap of spots I would want to hit. Like I said, I have a trade in the works for a running back. If that trade falls through, I could potentially be looking at free agents there. Uh, Wide receiver could be looking for guys. Tight end could be looking for guys. O line. I mean, pretty much every spot except uh at DT. I could replace Torres. I'm not gonna replace Madubuike, but so mainly linebacker is the biggest one because, like I said, um, we're really bad at linebacker behind Drew Sanders. So um, corner, and then basically anywhere on offense aside from quarterback. But that's going to be it for me for today. Really excited to add some pieces to this team and hopefully make some noise next year. That's going to be it for me for today. Peace out.